That's great to hear that a lot of people want to cast with me. I wish Cinderin was here. Jenkins, what are your thoughts on these drafts?
Timings on both. This VP lineup, I think when they get to the mid-game, they have a lot of damage to pump into the Chronosphere. Between the Finger, Wyvern spells, Death Prophet, of course, that's a classic combo. T1, they have the strong high ground defense of Leshrac, plus the Nyx Assassin. Spectre eventually will be really great at killing these 3 backliners on the side of VP, so there's timings for both. Once again, this is not one of those drafts where one seems significantly better than the other.
Yeah, finally get to see Winter Wyvern get played. Really lacking on that hero for sure this tournament.
I think a Holy Locket would be a great pickup for Winter Wyvern in this game.
Wow, that's kind of a crazy concept. And I mean, maybe if he had like this talent that would amplify all that, but that probably doesn't have that.
That'd be quite a bit too OP, I think.
Yeah, I think so. But the cool thing about it is because of the way that the draft ended up working out, we get to see a Nyx and a Lesh who have kind of been these, I want to say, basically on the same level as Wyvern for both the major and this tournament.
I agree. This Nyx Lesh might be a stronger... It might be stronger. It's hard to say because they get left out of certain drafts for whatever reason. The pick order matters, and that's likely why sometimes it gets left out. When you pick 2 heroes sequentially, then Nyx Lesh seems a lot better.
Yeah.
And so that's probably... But if you have that situation, then I do really believe that they're just as good as the Wyvern.
But then again, you do give up Timbersaw as well, who's also feeling like this hero in the right game. Pretty unstoppable. Do you think this is a good game for DM on the Timber?
There's answers. Leshrac running at Timber in lane. This is a hero that as soon as you hit level 6 on Lesh, you can run at a Timber, and so long as he's not like 2 or 3 levels ahead, it's fairly easy to lane up against him. So even if the Spectre's lane goes kind of poorly, there will be an answer eventually. That's why a lot of the time when Timber gets picked, Batrider and Lesh both get banned out in that second phase.
Yeah, and I'm just really happy from at least T1's perspective that we get to see Zephyr on more of the comfort hero, which is the Nyx, and I don't think anybody has played this hero better than this guy in the past couple tournaments.
Once again, he makes it look like Impale is a targeted stun like Burrow Strike. He's just hitting every single double Impale.
I mean, I know people that don't hit Burrow Strike still, so.
That's true. I also play with Pop-Tart.
Save, man, the inside jokes that nobody else gets just really get to me sometimes.
Like 200 people in chat, max.
Yeah, very true. Nightfall will be playing the Void Spirit, the Faceless Void this game. What are your thoughts on the Chrono potential? You got Chrono with the Chakram. It's not like the most typical Wombo combo style that we're seeing with Faceless Voids these days. Think it's good enough?
Yeah, it's good enough.
Yep, save. He's going to set up the Earth Spike with the Timber Chain to follow from DM. Whitemon on the Hoodwink, which is another hero we have yet to talk about. But yeah, let's talk about the Chrono potential from this young man right here who's going to get pressured a bit, but of course Time Walk will mitigate all of it.
Pretty solid against the Nyx Lesh lane, just given exactly what we just saw. You have these stuns that you can layer on top of each other, and Void will quite easily dodge that damage. But in the Chronosphere, there's good damage. Even just the Death Prophet alone is often enough. If you can stand remotely close to somebody on Death Prophet, the ulti damage is significantly more. I think it legitimately more than doubles.
I think the cool thing about playing with Death Prophet is you don't have to leave her out of Chrono. It's not the worst case scenario.
Yeah, you can Chrono her.
If Exorcism is up, you just Chrono her if people are surrounding her.
Same concept as this Cold Embrace on the Death Prophet, plus Leshrac as well as another combo that we saw.
Yeah.
You encase them and they continue doing damage, which is so annoying.
Yeah, very true. Okay. Well, it's going to be the Spectre versus Void into the late game if we get to that point, which again, last game I thought it would go a little bit more even, but VP were able to kind of take off once that first Roche was taken. And not sure what we're going to see from T1 this side in terms of like the Roche potential, but like who do you think has that advantage around that pit area?
Definitely VP. They've got Death Prophet to take Roche and Faceless Void to make taking Roche really difficult for T1. But T1 has the advantage of having extremely strong pickoff potential and plenty of damage too with the Leshrac. You can coil somebody next to the Lesh and he's going to get a kill. You can Nyx Assassin stun somebody next to the Lesh and he's going to get a kill. And then you have the Haunt coming in afterwards and a Sharpshooter from far away. So lots of damage, and they don't really need to be that close to each other.
Yeah, that's true. In terms of the mid matchup, GPK on the Death Prophet is at 18-9 versus Carl's 17-4. So pretty much a wash right now. Is that what you would expect at this stage of the game between these two heroes?
There's a little bit of an advantage from Death Prophet because you just don't have to buy regen. But
time dilation. Yeah, that's a really annoying one to deal with. Zephyr does use his Fairy Fire, but the bash is there from Nightfall.
Ah, very nice.
And Cuckoo looking for a high five from Nightfall. Nope, other way around, actually. I really hate it when the high fives are not reciprocated. It's 23 Savage getting pressured by DM. Very close to death here, but Whitemon with the health salve. Keeping his carry healthy, but in the meantime, yeah, that is... I mean, DM is getting really tanky. Only 2 levels of reactive armor, so not even level 5 yet. They just can't do much about him yet, at this point at least. You see the...
so close.
Yeah, that is 6 HP, the classic. Calculated from 23 Savage, of course, as we can see the Earth Spike miss here from Save.
I heard the panel talking about how DM, the only hero that he might be more impressive on than his Kunkka is his Timber Saw.
Okay,
and I can see why. This looks like an Ice Ice.
Yeah, this is going to be a kill.
Yeah.
Easy peasy. Timber Chain.
The best Timbers are these ones that pressure before they're level 6. They understand they can tank the creeps, and so they basically build up this creep army behind the tower where the carry has to either tank that. They have to decide, basically, do I want to take that amount of damage? And, of course, as a carry, you kind of have to because you don't want to miss lost hits.
Indeed, and I mean, DM 26-5 right now, so he is having himself a very good time.
He's a big juicy boy this game.
Yeah, Cuckoo on the other side, I mean, 25-7, so he's not too far behind. It's really the carries that are kind of falling. I mean, they're not that far behind, but I guess you can call it a wash between the two in terms of Faceless Void and Spectre, but they're not having a free farm game for sure this time around.
Spectre's supposed to have a tougher lane than Void is in this scenario, and it's kind of reflected. It's a very small difference.
Now GPK looking for that 6-minute rune, and it will be the invisibility. And at what point are you looking for Death Prophet to kind of get out of this lane and gank? It's not, I don't know, it feels like this hero that's just slow sieges with the Exorcism early. Or does he just stay mid and try to pressure that tower, knowing that puck has to go gank at some point? 23 Savage.
Oh.
Yeah, he takes some damage from DM with the Earth Spike to follow, but it looks like he'll be fine.
There's a couple of ways that you can think about Death Prophet's gameplay right now. Possibly you think that if Death Prophet runs at the Timbers lane, which looks like that is going to happen, the tower will just instantly fall because Timber can tank the tower and Death Prophet does enough damage to take the tower. Or maybe that's such an easy play that you just focus on mid because you know eventually you can just rotate to the Timber and get a free tower. So why not take the tower that's harder to take later but easy to take now, which is the mid tower. And it looks like that is what he's trying to do. He's pressuring mid.
Yeah, so from Carl's perspective, we'll see what his reaction is going to be to this because, I mean, obviously it's going to be a very long cooldown on Exorcism once it is actually popped, but he is a GPK that is transitioning towards the bot as we see Save get the Earth Spike onto Whitemon. Again, Hoodwink, we've talked about it before. Does this feel like a Hoodwink game to you?
I don't know what is a Hoodwink game.
You should. We covered NADPC. We know.
My thoughts on this hero is just that it's a generic stunning position 5, position 4. Maybe as a 4, the game needs to be better for it, but I see it similar to like a Crystal Maiden or a Lich when those heroes were strong, where you just never really felt bad having them on your team.
Yeah. I mean, GPK made quite the walk over to the bot lane as 23 Savage getting pressured. DM not enough to actually burst him down to the end, but GPK's kind of been going back and forth between bot and mid and has given up a little bit of farm and XP as a result, but still a little bit ahead of Carl right now in that mid lane. And you can see Spectre again, 23 Savage. Yeah, they've spent a lot on consumables this game for sure, which is the main reason that VP is sitting on a 2K net worth lead at 8 minutes. That's actually a little more significant than I thought it would be.
Yeah, they're taking a huge lead here, so I suppose there's nothing that GPK really needs to do. As he does head back down bot, I think this is a fairly free tower to take.
Chakram with the Whirling Death. We see the Exorcism from GPK if they can get 23 Savage. Oh, the Timber Chain's not going to connect on a tree despite being an entire forest, but the right click and Whirling Death are more than enough. Whitemon, I mean, GPK wasn't even needed here, it feels like, but regardless, he's going to get XP for two of these kills. And maybe, perhaps into a tier 1 as well.
Maybe the idea behind him rotating bot and dodging out of the way when it looked like he wasn't going to get any kills is that this is such a guaranteed rotation because DM is doing so well that if he's going to expend the Death Prophet ulti, he wants to get at least a kill first, which is pretty interesting and we've seen numerous teams, including T1, kind of play the game greedy like that, going like double Midas and just trying to irk out whatever advantage they can from every single spell that they have on the map. So it does make sense in terms of just optimizing for gold. Is, you know, you get kills, it's more gold.
Yeah, Nightfall working on a Maelstrom as his first main item on the Faceless Void. And then the counterpart for 23 Savage. Looks like it will be the Blade Mail to help him farm in the jungle, so no big surprise there. And he already picked up the Possessed Mask, actually, which is not too shabby. Although I think he'd prefer the... we have some action here. Whitemon still only level 3, by the way. Just hits 4 there with that ward, but save, getting the mana drain off. DM, not quite in range for the Whirling Death, but the Chakram is going to be there with the Crypt Swarm as well. So feels like VP are getting pretty much whatever they want with this 5-0 advantage right now.
Yeah, there's not anything that can kill DM, and the problem with Cuckoo, if he rotates towards DM, if he dies doing that once, then all of a sudden he's not tanky enough to do that a second time. And so he goes straight for the Hood of Defiance just to ensure that he is tanky, and I think probably that's why he's not rotating towards DM, is because he needs the boots first before he can realistically run at the lane.
As we see the replay here, the ward kill. Oh, level 4. Feels so good, but then he dies. So maybe not so much.
That's worth it.
Yeah, Zephyr's still level 5 on the Nyx Assassin. We're at 10.5 minutes now. Let's see if these tomes come out, if they haven't already. It's 23 Savage playing it very, very close.
Greedy boy.
Yes, indeed. Still does not... Oh, he did get up the chip vest. Okay, that's the dream item for sure, on top of the Blade Mail to come for him. But still kind of playing the catch-up game. Does have Haunt, so if he finds an opportunity to find a quick kill and then back to farming, he'll do so. Otherwise, just full-on farming for him.
It's a great Blade Mail game against Death Prophet and Timber. Damage that it's extremely hard for these heroes to control who it goes on, and so you can just haunt in, reflect all of that damage. I like that also 23 Savage went for a Sage's Mask casually, eventually building into the Echo. Spectre really needs that mana.
Yeah, we talked about it before, the fact that Blade Mail doesn't have that int, the Robe of the Magi anymore as part of that build. Pretty big deal for that hero as DM. Gonna be tanking this up, gets the Vendetta off from Zephyr side. Splitter's not gonna do that because of the curse. Beautiful timing from Kingslayer again. That is gonna be the death of Zephyr as a result. The coil basically just on the Faceless Void, but Nightfall looks pretty fine overall. It takes the Bushwhack, but just time walks into the tier 1. Just like that, VP with a tier 1 tower again and 2 kills. 7-0. This is starting to look a little yikes from T1. Jenkins.
Man, the matchup between Timber and Leshrac is whoever starts getting kills on the other one, it feels like the other just feeds. And so that was about to be Cuckoo killing DM and stopping this reign of terror from the Timbersaw. But just a beautiful Winter's Curse, as we've seen so many times throughout this tournament and the Animajor. It is the biggest buzzkill ability in the entirety of Dota.
We've also seen it in our Nightmares.
This is true.
As this hero's picked literally every game. Oh, Hex, Earth Spike to follow, GPK. Gets off the Spirit Siphon into the Silence. Very good layering into the finger. VP have come to play in this game 3.
This is turning out to be a shellacking. I hate to say it.
It's still, I mean, it is still kind of early, but yeah, it has the potential to expand for sure.
8-0 map advantage from taking the bot tower and the mid tower. If you're T1, you have to make a play soon. I think probably with the Puck plus Leshrac, you need the damage from Lesh, and the best longest range lockdown you have is the Puck. Nyx is not going to be enough at this point. He is very behind.
Yeah, that is definitely true. So Nightfall, literally like 2 gold away from finishing the Maelstrom here, so that's going to help amplify his farm overall. I would assume a BKB afterwards, but he's not worried about this game. He can go at his own pace.
He doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah, I mean, he's been involved, but we haven't really seen any... has he cast Chrono this game?
He hasn't pressed Chrono once. He hasn't had to.
Yeah.
They got the tower mid.
He baited the coil earlier on, and other than that, he's been farming, which is exactly what you're supposed to do if you don't need... I mean, the time dilation gives you some presence in lane, which definitely helped, but...
If you're Faceless Void versus a Puck, though, you're so happy about farming because, as the panel was talking about, it is a difficult matchup. Instant stun with this Puck and more than enough damage and disable to kill the Void.
Yeah. All right. Well, 3K net worth lead for VP as Looks like they want to take over the jungle again here, even though they already have this tier 1 tower. And they see Carl in the vicinity, but they also see a Wyvern. So, oh, that was T1 actually picking it up. Okay, that's the first kill for T1. That's exactly what you need. And Zephyr, again, like we've talked about this guy on the Nyx Assassin, he is building towards Ags. And I think it was T-Gov that was saying that he's expecting T1 to get off to a slow start, and then the high ground defense is where they really shine. And this is the big reason why the Ags on Nyx.
I'm pretty sure you never want to play to defend high ground like that, but it's more so that you have the capability. Obviously, they tried to win the lanes. They've tried to make moves, but that is always a concern if you're playing against Nyx plus Leshrac, is how do we take high ground?
Yeah.
And I do think VP has an answer. Death Prophet is a very long-range siege hero, but whenever you're standing closer to the tower, it does significantly more damage, so it is quite slow if you stand far away with DP and siege the tower like that.
Yeah, that's true. And I think from T1's perspective, I mean, it also helps that Nyx, this is the item you build anyway, so it's not like he's changing his build because they're behind.
True, yeah, that's true.
Doesn't have to actually adapt, because we've seen literally the same build every game.
Yeah.
On every Nyx Assassin that actually gets through.
Every team fight seems to be control an area. Right? You play near some high ground with a ward, and your cores are kind of in and out, but the supports will sit in the back and just use spells from afar. And Nyx Assassin Ags is just about the best thing at doing this. And if the Nyx gets gone on, good lord, he is not easy to kill with that 50% damage reduction. Raw damage reduction is OP, as you should know as a Centaur spammer.
That's right.
Always recommend.
I mean, there's not that many damage reductions, like percentage-wise, right?
Nope.
There's only a few in the game, so anytime you can get your... I was actually surprised when they buffed the Nyx Ags, because I thought it was already really good.
Yeah.
As Carl's going to have to use his coil to try to get away here. Doesn't really have anybody nearby other than the Hoodwink. And yeah, that's, I mean, it's not the longest cooldown. It has been nerfed in the past couple patches, so it like has 20 seconds extra, I feel like, than it used to, but not that big of a deal.
The coil, yeah, it's no big deal. It used to be like 65 seconds, which that was always too little.
Yeah.
For such a good ability.
Whitemon, Bushwhack not going to connect, save, keeping his distance wisely, but the Diabolic Edict to continue to do work. As we see the first Chronosphere of the game, GPK gets the Silence and the Exorcism on top. And you can see the Blade Mail does a lot of work, but obviously in a 3v1 situation, you're not going to be able to do anything about that. Meanwhile, we have the TPs again from VP to try to defend this. Oh, Cuckoo destroyed by DM, and now Zephyr on the run with that Vendetta. Looks like he should get out, although the dust does connect, but he's just too far away at this point.
And of course, VP tips Cuckoo. He's doing his classic, I'm kind of behind on Leshrac, so I'm going to go stand in trees. And
that's true. He's been doing that a lot, as there might be a reciprocal kill here. But no, safe, staying alive for now. The Sharpshooter just off range, and this might cost the Puck his life instead. Carl, the Winter's Curse does connect, and that'll provide Kingslayer with the easy kill. They did end up losing save, but the fact that he stayed alive a little bit longer meant that Carl had to kind of commit.
Yeah, Carl going down here is a really big deal. I think 23 and Carl dying is very bad for T1, because these are usually the players that whenever they're behind, they'll do some like epic thing, and everybody will come back off the back of them. Off the back of one of them being incredibly farmed and having a good game. And it's not often you see both of them having a tough time.
Yeah, especially not in, I mean, both tournaments, really, the Animajor and this ESL 1 summer event.
Yeah. The question is, what do they do when everybody's having a...
Bushwhack into the Impale with the Haunt and Sharpshooter. 23 Savage gets credit for that one. He has the Echo Saber Blade Mail combo. We'll be going for Manta next. And also a double damage to boot. So this provides potentially an opportunity for T1 to continue to farm on Spectre, which is exactly what they need.
These are really crucial picks. This is getting them back into the game.
Oh yeah, we do see, thank you to the observers here. We'll talk about that in just a moment as we see the impact move here. The Sharpshooter, which was being wound up from the beginning off the original Bushwhack. But speaking of Hoodwink as a hero, we did see this the other day, but having this Ironwood tree allows you to cast Bushwhack first and then place the tree. Pretty cool combo. It's essentially like an instant, it feels like an instant disable in some cases.
It's nice, too, because the acorn shot provides vision. So whenever you use the bushwhack, they're going to run away from you because they're dying. And if they run into trees, you can use the acorn shot to get vision of people that you're chasing. So it does feel like a really nice combo. I think the most important thing about that last pickoff that we saw is that 23 got the kill. Spectre, not a hero that farms particularly fast. As you can see, they're smoking directly towards him, but...
Yep, they're going to find Whitemon, but he just scurries away. But there's the Blink Hex from Save, and that's going to give another kill from the Leshrac. So Cuckoo kind of doing his thing like we've talked about, creating as much space as he can. Actually does expend the Finger of Death, but they'll take it. As long as, I mean, from T1's perspective, as long as Spectre doesn't die, they'll be okay with this. We're going to see GPK with the Exorcism. This will be the first Roche of the game. Don't think T1 can really do anything about this.
No haunt. The most that they could hope for is a steal, but it's so difficult for a puck to get in there against Lion plus Death Prophet Silence. It's not going to happen, so T1, they just decide to push the lanes instead.
So Faceless Void, Mr. Nightfall himself will get it. They, like their mid laner in terms of DP, not a good Aegis carrier. I mean, I feel like that's kind of significant. If there was a Lesh mid or a Storm mid, like we've seen these heroes just absolutely take over the game because of the Aegis. And DP's just not one of them. It's like it almost feels like a transformation hero to some degree. Just super long cooldown. If you die with that up, it's just complete waste.
Hey, even Void's a tad not so good, just because you respawn and maybe you don't have the Chronosphere up.
Yeah. Because
you saw some good opportunity prior to dying. Just a question of like, when does the Chronosphere opportunity present itself?
So 4K net worth lead here for VP. And Zephyr, he is only 1,000 away from Ags.
Billy Stone, that's a good item.
Yeah, that is true. We didn't really mention that, but that will, especially in a losing game like this, help you get some very important items.
Reliable goal, too. So
he's getting chased, though, so I might have to save that money in the bank. He's going to get silenced as we see the Bushwhack not connect here, but the Spirit Siphon is there into the Crypt Swarm as well, into the Bashes. In addition, Zephyr does get off his Spike Carapace for now, though. It's DM on the other side, chasing out Cuckoo, but looks like Carl and Zephyr both die on opposite sides here. So VP just in firm control of this game right now. Oh, Blink Hex again from Save. Here comes the Timber Chain. This will be a huge kill. Bushwhack again misses. You can see VP kind of doing this in and out game right now. Really well executed. Splitter's going to be connecting with that Eul Scepter combo. 23 Savage does not want this stack take. It's not that big of a stack, but he needs his farm, Jenkins.
That was pretty cool. VP kind of baited the fortification by making it look like they were going to dive into the tier 2. As we can see the Haunt in. That's not so good.
Oh yeah, the Winter's Curse.
There goes his friend.
I mean, it's like Winter Wyvern is just a really good hero. I don't know, it's weird.
I believe that's a very strange opinion that you hold.
I mean, we need to ask. Okay, whoever wins this tournament, winning interview, which you will not be on panel because you're casting.
Yep.
Maybe you can relay this to our panel.
You can do that.
Please ask. Well, I will forget because I'm an old man, but please remember to ask them to ask whoever wins about Winter Wyvern and what they think and why it gets through literally every game, because I actually don't know. I don't understand.
It is interesting. It does seem like the ubiquitously best Dota hero currently. Everything else is just an argument against Winter Wyvern, where it's like, okay, guys, hear me out. And then everybody's like, oh, God, he's going to say something's better than Winter Wyvern.
GPK is going to pop the Exorcism here, and Nightfall just pounding on the tier 2. This is probably going to be given up, but pressure is applied to the tier 2 top as well. I mean, there's other heroes like AA, right? It's a cool hero because it provides you with this option of, hey, we pick this, which means you can't pick XXX. But at the same time...
But this is always the discussion, though. It's always Winter Wyvern first and like, oh, hear me out.
Yeah. No, but at the same time, Winter Wyvern, he pushes waves. He has great team fight. He has ridiculously OP heals right now. I feel like he just provides everything.
5 different builds that you can go that are all viable.
Yeah.
You counter it, she just goes a different build.
All right, tier 3 tower is taking really heavy damage. And it looks like VP might actually just get this uncontested. 0 defense here. As 23 Savage is going to be happy with the trade for the tier 2 for tier 3. Now you can see the Cold Embrace coming into play onto Nightfall. Gets the Time Walk off, a little baby one there. Of course, still has his Aegis intact. Zephyr showing off that Aghanim Scepter. Gets off the Impale, but VP might just back up now. There's no Haunt yet for 23 Savage, so I mean, he has it, but just doesn't have mana, so we'll have to TP back to base.
VP just trying to force Carl back there. Obviously, you see 23 Savage in a lane, and the immediate thought is, this guy's just going to haunt in. No big deal. But when you see Carl pushing up that top lane, standing on your ward, you know he should be in base. There's no boots of travel. There's nothing to show that Carl can be out positioned like that. So they actually get a tower because Carl doesn't want to come back until the tower goes down.
Yeah, that tower being down is... I mean, it's not like they're going up against a Lesh or something that can just quickly take it with a low cooldown thing. You have to commit an Exorcism, because that's pretty much their only tower push right now. But VP on the high ground here, going to break the smoke from Cuckoo. Oh, the Bushwhack is going to miss because of the Yules, but the Split Earth does come in turn, so they find the kill regardless. And now the coil is going to be pretty big. Chronosphere onto 2. You see the Winter Wyvern buy back into the game. The Impale is going to connect on 2 on top of this. Nightfall still with the Aegis, so he's not scared of anything. Cuckoo rounding up the Split Earth. Does hit onto 2 in turn, and Nightfall has to time walk back to the tier 2 tower. But DM is going absolute ham. 2 dead for T1. Did cost a buyback from BP, but you can see that T1 is now completely on the run. Time dilation, able to be connected onto Whitemon. He's going to get chased here by the Faceless Void. And you can see here, Mr. Zephyr himself does get up the Spike Carapace, but they have vision. The Crypt Swarm is enough. So 4 for 1. It looked like a pretty good fight from T1 to start out, but they're maybe just too far behind at this point.
That was very nice from Nightfall. He hits the Chrono there because he knows if he breaks the coil, he's probably fine. You know, his team can save him. He had Aegis, but he breaks both of the Eon Discs of Cuckoo and Carl in that fight. And then afterwards, DM comes through and he pops both of them. The 2 heroes that Nightfall popped the Eon Disc of, they killed first. So that was intentional. It wasn't, the Chrono was not to kill both of those heroes, it was just to pop their Eon Discs because they were so confident that without the Chrono, they could kill them so long as they didn't have those up.
Right, okay, that's cool. And now we have a Scotty online for Nightfall. So very difficult to kill, to say the least, as he's getting close to that level 20 as well, which we've seen both the Time Walk talent and 40 attack speed in one taken. The fact that he doesn't have... I mean, there is going to be a second Roche, so perhaps you want to play into that with the Time Walk talent, but we'll see.
It's interesting that Nightfall's not going for a BKB in this scenario. He's just confident that so long as he turns around with a Chronosphere when he gets coiled, he's going to be fine. He has the effective HP and the status resistance to survive.
Oh, Spirit Siphon finds Cuckoo. You can see the Eon Disc proc. Time dilation to follow, though, and completely surrounded. Earth Spike from save. Down goes Cuckoo. Now 5v4 situation as T1 have to just back up.
Cuckoo is an absolute maniac on this track. He just walks up so many high grounds. Somebody's got to do it, though.
Yeah. And Nightfall going to take a bounty now, farm the enemy triangle. This is the one downside with VP's lineup, is just the cooldown on Exorcism. They don't have like this secondary push hero, it feels like.
Yeah.
Maybe the Timbersaw getting Shard would help. Is he actually queuing that up at any point? Oh, he literally just did. Okay.
He's thinking the same thing. He's like, oh god, I'm so sick of waiting for this cooldown.
I mean, it makes sense. It is good damage to the tower with that flamethrower.
Yeah. And they don't need the Exorcism for damage in team fights because Nightfall has enough net worth at this point that just the Faceless Void is going to do a ton of damage. It's literally just about taking the barracks. It's about ending out the game. And Timber Shard, that'll help you do that a little bit quicker.
Yeah, Nightfall did go for the 40 attack speed talent. Basically the same win rate between the two. 40 attack speed taken a little bit more often, though. That's kind of cool. You don't see that very often where it's similar pick rate, similar win rate as well.
Depend on the build, too. If you're going for Aghanim Scepter, then the Time Walk cooldown just equals more damage. And the 20 talent attack speed is obviously more damage as well.
All right, we're going to have a 5-man smoke from Virtus Pro. Ooh, we have an Ether Lens here on Whitemon. He's actually going for Aghanim Scepter next, which of course we have seen from time to time on these more farmed Hoodwinks. Oh, this will be a huge kill for VP. And yeah, this is going to be a super easy one as well. 23 Savage, just wrong place, wrong time. And Roshan, we can see not up for another minute 45.
Check out the kill score for quickly.
Yep, it is 420. I'm sure chat's very happy about that.
That's good stuff right there. Anyway.
Go ahead.
Back to
Back
the
to you.
Back to
Back to you,
Dakota.
Jenkins. Yeah, Dakota, shout out to you. But yeah, Nightfall is just super, super farm right now. It looks like they are kind of waiting for this Roche. Thought they might try to force a buyback potentially here, but just playing it close to the vest. Again, 10K net worth lead, so they're not really in a super rush here.
Yeah, they're confident they can play the map and choke T1 out. They have Boots of Travel on GPK, so that's fairly easy to do. And here's a little bit of that choking out happening.
Yeah, impact move. You can look at the top score line. Oh, we're not going to get that because there is a kill coming. Sharpshooter's there. DM pops the BKB, but it's getting very low. Actually drops down, so nicely done from T1, but a big, juicy impale coming out from the line into the Chronosphere onto 2. And again, just too much farm for T1 to deal with. And okay, the big haunt comes in. 23 Savage pops the blade mail, jumping left, right, and center. Finally, he focuses on Nightfall as he has no more illusions to work with.
He got out?
He got back to base? What?
He didn't bash.
Wow.
What are the chances?
I didn't even see him TPing, for God's sake. But yeah, that was a lot of right clicks with no bash. What's the percentage on this? 24%?
Why is he a Dota player? He should be at the casino right now. Why?
Well, maybe it's because he got the double kill. As we see, he actually TP'd right away.
2.
Wow.
3. 4.
Yeah.
5.
Okay.
5 hits in a row. Let me do the math.
But the Maelstrom did proc, so something at least procced for him. As you can see the smiles coming out here. Always cool to see the webcams on these players. As Jenkins is opening up Google to calculate something apparently. All right, 23 Savage, he sees Roche, he's going for it. This is the Aegis, Cheese, and Shard. They know Chronosphere is down, they know Exorcism is down. This is a really good play from T1, especially if it works out. I mean, it's a good thought regardless.
I did the math. There's a 25% chance that would happen.
That's it? That's not right.
That's right.
Was it 5 hits or 2 or 4?
5 hits.
Okay. So not that big of a deal then, is what you're saying.
No, that's a big deal.
Cuckoo gets the split earth, Loser Orb to follow, trying to create as much space as possible as the Aegis is not going to be taken. The stun comes out, it's snatched by Save himself. He's going to pop. That's not even a BKB, that is the Shard as 23 Savage has the Spectral Dagger away. Barely gets out with his life. Zephyr stuck inside this freaking ult from Timbersaw, just too much damage to deal with. Double kill for Nightfall. And yeah, Save ends up taking the Aegis. So that means T1 got Roche. I'm not sure who got the Shard. I see Save has a Shard. I'm not sure if that was from the pit.
Save took the Shard, and he must have given it to somebody else.
We'll have to watch the replay here.
Nightfall has the Shard.
This is a big... Look at this Earth Spike. Oh my god. So the Cheese on Cuckoo, for sure.
Now, the Cheese is on 23 Savage now.
Well, now, okay, yeah, but he picked it up, I mean.
Oh, I see.
All right, I'm going to click on everybody. Cheese is there, okay. So who did get the Shard? Because Save does have it, so...
You know, the ridiculous thing, too, about that...
Oh, no, it is on the reverse time lock, okay.
The timing of that is like, you're playing against a Haunt. How do you blink in and steal the Aegis from 2 heroes?
Yeah, that's pretty dirty play right there. Zephyr inside the trees, but they see him, and yeah, he's going to be brought down. I mean, Timbersaw's such a good hero against Nyx Assassin, especially when you have the silence from DP on top of it. And this is going to be a full set of racks in the bot. Probably go to the mid lane now while this Exorcism is still up. All right, Chronosphere onto 2. He's going to focus on the Hoodwink while Mr. GPK focuses on the Lesh. That's 2 quick kills, both buybacks though, as we see the Haunt come out with the Blade Mail, trying to apply as much pressure, finally gets that Winter Wyvern, but now 23 Savage on the run. No bashes needed this time as Nightfall jumps right in, dodges the Whitemon Sharpshooter. Impale's going to connect from Zephyr on the sideline, but Whitemon will fall regardless. And they have a sentry in the vicinity. Zephyr now on the run. Bash, first hit this time. Karma, full team wipe, VP, GG's call. This was a bit of a shellacking.
What's here? What's here?
This was probably just a normal shellac.
Normal shellac?
Maybe one higher, it would be